presidency planning to reintroduce controversial water bill in this June that we are in, according to investigation. The bill was gazetted in October by the House preparatory to its second presentation for consideration, the source at the committee disclosed. It said the presidency is considering bringing it back in a matter of weeks. He also disclosed that the northern caucuses of the House of the Senate, herdsmen groups and other northern leaders are pushing for the bill. The bill was rejected on Tuesday, September 29, 2020 by a majority of the Green Chamber, but the co-sponsor of the piece of allegation of legislation represents Rep. Abubakar Fulata, APC, Jigawa, who doubles as the chairman committee on rules and business, quickly set back to business to rework and reintroduce the bill. One of the key sponsors is Rep. Sada Soli, APC Katsina. The legislative instrument, which has faced a stiff opposition from groups across the country, it was launched a month ago to be pushed by the northern caucuses of both houses of the National Assembly, Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association, associated herder groups, Ministry of Water Resources, and mostly northern leaders. The House was thrown into a turmoil earlier while considering the matter of privilege raised by Rep. Benjamin Nzodu, PDP Benue, to be heard on the contentious National Water Resources Bill 2020. Nzodu's motion sought the withdrawal of bill owing to the public cry against it and its breach of House rules. In presenting its matter of privilege, Rep. Nzodu cited other 6 Rule 1 and 2 and 3 as he argued forcefully against the transmission of the bill to the Senate and its finally becoming law. According to him, I wish to refer to Order 6, Rule 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Order 12, Rule 18 to state that I was deprived of my legislative privilege of citing gazetted copy of the National Water Resources Bill HB 921, and such could not participate in the consideration of the report by the Committee of the Whole, which also deprived me of my rights and privilege of representation to my people. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, it is in the effort to eliminate the elements of surprise that the House, in its wisdom, included in its standing rule. Every bill must be gazetted or clean copies circulated. It is important to note that the word emphasized here is gazette, which means appearing in the bill's journal of the House. The words used are clear, unambiguous. They ought to be given their ordinary meaning as stated. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I was misled by the use of Order 12, Rule 18 of our standing orders. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, it is an issue of law and procedure. And honorable Speaker, the onus of interpretation lies with you. Where the bill was labeled as Bill 2020, it was not considered as such. The laws lay on your shoulder to interpret these rules as stated in Order 7 Rule 1 of 7. It is important to emphasize that I have painstakingly searched through all the journals of the House and cannot find where the bill is gazetted, and I stand to be challenged or corrected. The next question for your consideration, Honorable Speaker, this with jurisdiction, whether the House such power to entertain a bill, such proceedings becoming a nullity ab initio, no matter how conducted and decided. So having not met this condition, I wish to move, relying on Order 8, Rule of 8 and above stated rules, that the House do reside expunge the decision of 23rd July 2020, which adopted the National Water Resources Bill 2020 HB 921 to have been read the third time from our records. His later prayers were granted after a prolonged debate from both sides of the legislative divide, as the Speaker ordered for the withdrawal of Bill Fundamental issues have been raised by Honorable Unzondu. He has backed them up with a clear language that such bills must be regazetted, Gbajabiamila said. The Deputy Speaker of the House, Representative Idris Wase, who argued against Unzondu's position, stressing that the bill followed due process in its passage. Wase's argument was buttressed by the sponsor of the bill, Rep member Sada Soli, APC Katsina, and the chairman of the Rules and Business Committee, Rep Hassan Fulata, APC Jigawa. Lawmakers by Rep Kingsley Chinda, PDP Rivers, however, put a strong defense for Nzondu's submission, leading to the decision of the Speaker to order for the withdrawal of the bill for a fresh gazetting. Recall that the same bill which was earlier introduced as executive bill was killed in the Senate but passed in the House. The instruments, however, couldn't be transmitted to the Senate for Senate concurrence before the 8th Assembly lapsed. The House resumes plenary on Tuesday to consider pending bills. Well, I remember that this water resources bill was rejected by a lot of Nigerians, especially from the southern part of the country. And those with a hidden agenda in the water bill will never see it as a law until they are passed away. The National Assembly has no power on these lands. They are within the jurisdictions of the states. Okay, thanks to know that it is time for the entire southern Nigeria, Middle Belt, and other good indigenous people of the northeast to unite against these Fulani vandals destroying our nation. Unfortunately, we have useless political leaders apart from few governments of tears and blood. They have come up with a Ruga, they've come up with all manner of things. They have come up with even this water resources bill. I think it is even under the 8th Senate. They brought this bill. And it was rejected because they believe that the people believe that this is an act again to get people's land. The government to take, or the federal government to take the responsibility of land. All the ones that are under the federal government list, what have they done? Nothing. They have tried Ruga, they've tried all of those things, and that's Ruga. They are still looking for ways to bring them back, to bring that a Ruga program and the livestock transformation, or whatever they call it, to bring it back. But now, even before now that they were talking about the Ruga, that this their attitude and the character of the presidency, Buhari, and their agenda have not really gotten to this peak. People were really aware of such, not to talk of now. Everybody just shine their eyes. Well, by God's grace, it will not work for you, demons. They want to take our land and the rivers as well. It appeared our honorable members of the Federal House of Representatives are not sensitive to the needs of their constituencies. We have more serious national challenges than managing water resources, curbing the menace of banditry, kidnapping, Boko Haram, and other economic and social challenges are more urgent than water resources bill. Everything must be taken into consideration, because if you say, oh, this one does not matter, and I say, okay, and that is when by the time you now know the implication of that, the time would have gone. Everything must be dealt with accordingly.